but we're gonna have to revisit TradingView. It's like not even
RT,
good.
am I gonna be able to see your charts in real time on the
Yep.
Word.
You should be able to. Let's do it. Oh, sushi is pumping. Rob, I got to show you the volume on sushi. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I've stolen a lot of your... I've stolen a lot of your ape stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys. It's DeltaFi Wednesday. Big day today in the market with Ethereum breaking out, signaling possibly the beginning of something that you never thought would happen again during the bear, and that is alt season.
The beginning of?
Well, that's the most exciting part, Rob, is that it really hasn't even begun. If you think about ETH BTC in rip face mode being the harbinger of proper ape season, proper, alt season, right, then it really only just kind of began. Everything to this point has been a retrace of the bear market. So when we consolidate up against that weekly resistance and then break through it, it's like the bull is back, and it only really just hit today. So yeah, the beginning. Like, trust me, bro, if it goes the way it looks like it will go, we'll talk at Christmas and you'll look back and be like, bro, that was the beginning. Like it'll look back on the chart and there'll just be this little breakout day and it'll be like, oh my God. So that's how I'm feeling today. After being admittedly a little uncomfortable the last couple of days, I put in the newsletter yesterday that I was 50% cash. I was a little gun shy. Bitcoin looked like shit.
Not gonna make it.
Yeah, September, new month. Rotated a lot of my stuff. From my SAM basket, which had all gone bananas, like 400% as a basket, which was great. And I rotated a lot of that to cash. The good news is I rotated it all into sushi yesterday. So that's like a 10% day. And I think it's going to just ridiculous, explode. How are you guys doing today? Enough about my bags. How are your bags?
Oh, God.
Oh, Rob, you've got something going on in your face. What's up? What's up with your cam?
Oh shit, I'm like Gunny. I caught Gunny's virus.
Yeah, Gunny's not here yet, guys, but he will be here. And in lieu of him and his camera stuff, Rob's decided to take it on today.
Holy cow. Dude, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good on all fronts. I mean,
you've seen the FTT chart today, so you must be
dude. Yes.
I know.
Dude, Rob's like camouflaged right now.
I know. I'm like the zombie NFT.
Dude, you look like a fucking zombie. Like that's actually pretty cool.
No, I feel like I'm in Terminator right now.
The mutant ape.
I actually love it. I feel like the Terminator.
So don't fix that.
Sick, yeah.
The market right now, obviously we're looking at a green day and like our bags are really doing the thing right now. I honestly, the FTT thing to me was not a matter of if, but when. We saw, and I tweeted this weekend when I saw the fucking twopper back in, which is what I call that TWOP idiot on Binance, which is CZ or whatever they're getting out of their FTT bags after their 100x, 500x with whatever deal they had. But you can tell by looking at some wallet stuff that the T-Whopper was almost done. He was out of ammo. And then when I saw the CMS tweet that was, saying the exact same thing, I was like, this thing's like a beach ball that's being held underwater that is about to just like literally launch. And we're seeing it today.
Bro. Holy crap.
Well,
yeah.
Look at the volume too. But guys, if there's any sort of outperformance in crypto, tell me why SBF and FTX is not one of it. You know,
They don't lose.
Yeah. Like, why can't it be overvalued?
But we also see the power of supply and demand. Like, let's just say it was Binance and CZ who was getting out of their FTT position that they had forever. It's a competitor for whatever reason. People move inventory, they move their allocation, but you know, we kept saying it. That to me, you know what kind of seller it is. That sort of seller didn't scare me. Like, I'm not. This isn't a like toxic order flow.
It's not like an insider.
Yeah, so
selling.
Use that liquidity and you know, today the people who were buying that TWAP selling liquidity on FTT, they got rewarded. And to be honest, that chart, it doesn't look like it wants to stop. But
that's what I mean about the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And let's zoom out. I zoomed into the hourly so we could see the TWAPper. I mean, look at that. And yeah, it's, you know, it's sweeping highs. It's going to get rejected. There, people will sell. That's resistance. Yeah. But I mean, look at the volume.
Yeah.
And so when you make a new high, which is what we did today, and you make it on new highs in volume, that denotes a breakout. That does not denote a top or exhaustion. Now, is this an area where I go with my fresh powder and say, finally, I'm going to get long on FTT? Not really. As a trader, I have a hard time with that. So that's not at all what I would say is, you know, is my point here. But it's like zooming out, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, what FTX is doing, they're rising month over month user growth. And then the news yesterday, and I don't know, is this what you're talking about with CMS, with the CFTC license acquisition?
I mean, that's huge news.
That's
with CMS, they just said, they tweeted the other day. I tweeted Saturday night. I was like, I can't believe this TWAP guy's in. Like, I want to know who's making these decisions, because he's deciding to sell massive tranches during the most illiquid market times. But then, like, you know, CMS tweeted he believed that this guy was out of, you know, he was nearing the end of his ammo to just sell. And that just gave me, you know, the extra nod where, you know, knowing if that's true, geez, like this.
I love how they waited for him to run out of ammo, and then they just marked that shit the fuck up. Like,
yeah, it's like, we're gonna just let you sell in this range, do all you want, sell me all you want at $45 and fuck off.
But that's the thing. I don't even consider it a markup on their front. The bottom line is, like, that big seller, the person who's been putting supply on the market, he's gone. Then where is the supply? Because everything else has been mooning. So, I mean, don't tell me that Solana is going to go to $120 and like FTT isn't going to get similar type of love. That's their baby. They're one of the big participants there. So,
well, look at this fib extension, just parked cutely up above $100 there. That's sort of where I see this thing going for the next consolidation. You know, it may consolidate here. It may, you know, find a little spot along the way up. I'm sure there's a chaos level here we can find that'll give us, it might actually match. It looks like it's going to be close. Yeah, it's like $95. So, like, here's a really nice box. I've got my FTT staked. It's not even something I consider a trade. We've talked so much about it, Coinbase valuation versus FTX valuation. And one of the things I think that gives Coinbase an edge, aside from early mover advantage, is that they can serve the US. And so then you have FTX US, and this is the news that came out yesterday, which I thought was oddly quiet. It caused a pump in price. The price came all the way back down within that range. We'll look at that on the chart in a sec. And then, you know, this morning it was like, oh yeah, that was really bullish. And everyone decided to blow the lid off that thing. But they acquired Ledger X LLC, Commodity and Futures Trading Association, regulated crypto derivatives exchange, for an undisclosed sum. Now, my guess is they don't want to be Ledger X, but they want that. They want that license, and now they have it. And my take on that, and maybe you could put some color on this, is that they'll now be able to serve the U.S. users the way that they do non-U.S. with derivatives, perps. Which, let's be real, that's their bread and butter. They do perp everything, and that fancy kind of derivative stuff. Now, perhaps they can offer it to the U.S. And that's monstrous. That's really big, because they've done everything they've done to this point without the U.S. user base, for the most part.
Yeah.
And you got to think they were thinking of this when they pitched in on the MLB and the Miami Stadium. Like they've been targeting the U.S. for a while now.
Well, yeah, but listen, the regulatory situation is it's still one of the U.S. and then non-U.S. in a big way. And so their FTX.US offering, which I think is the best exchange to use in the U.S. I sing their praises all the time. I know Brett Harrison, who's the CEO there, super, super sharp guy. I mean, I think FTX US, they're going to do everything that compliance-wise is okay in the US. There's a lot of room there for US regulated products that are outside of derivatives. I think FTX US, with respect to NFTs, I think they're going to really get aggressive there. I think we've seen what they're doing with their sports strategy, just getting that name out there. I think that, Coinbase should be scared about their market share in the US. I think that, Jack Dorsey and Cash App, they're doing huge crypto business. We see from their quarterly reports, also Robinhood as well. So, this is natural for FTX US, the derivatives piece with LedgerX. And if they can nail that down, look out. They've proven that they're the best execution team out there, in my opinion. So, I have really strong faith in the strategy that's happening at FTX, both US and .com.
In Hong Kong, yeah. No, it's something we've talked about a lot. And admittedly, through this, I found other opportunities with some of my FTT bag. I was just like, it's not moving. It's, it's probably one of, if I had family that was like, what's something I should just buy that maybe later, it's probably pretty safe and it's got some good upside, maybe a little more than Bitcoin, ROI wise. And I always told them, Solana, FTT, like I'm a sandbasket junkie, as you guys know. Weirdly naked right now though, without my sandbasket intact.
Oh.
I've got no pants and no sandbasket. I did.
You want to stand up really quick?
I took profit on a lot of my sandbasket just because it had gone up so much, and there was a lot of things that were just about to maybe chase and follow. But I need to get really aggressive getting a lot of that back. So I'll be looking at that in the newsletter with retrace levels, pump chaser zones, all that stuff. And hey, if it takes off without me, you'll hear about it. I'm sure that's not the first or last time I'll do that. But 400%, 350% returns on my basket from July. That's sick. I like it. So
one of the really interesting things about the Solana ecosystem right now, and I spoke about this on Shitcoin Church yesterday. It's we're looking at all of these different incentives programs and shit like that, right? It's just raining free money, which is amazing. It's an amazing time to be alive. But different ecosystems are taking different approaches. This is kind of a chicken and the egg problem. And when you look at the Solana ecosystem, one of the things I think they're doing really, really well is they're focusing on the builders. Of course, AVAX is all the rage right now, and we're having a ton of fun over there. But one of the biggest issues with AVAX is that we just kind of ran out of shit to do. The builders aren't there yet. They're getting the users over to solve the builder problem, and it's their philosophy that, hey, let's get as many users over here as possible. And then the builders will want to build here. And of course, AVAX also benefits from years and years and years of EVM development that's already happened. Whereas in the Solana ecosystem, they're taking this builder first approach to where they're building out everything. When we do see this massive rotation over to Solana, there's not going to be a lack of things to do. It's just everything's going to be there. Everything's going to be ready. It's just going to be rock and roll. So I am personally looking forward to that big rotation when it does occur. I know it is going to occur because the issue, with AVAX, as we saw, when you run out of things to do, it kills the momentum. And I don't think that'll be the case for the Solana ecosystem when we do see that massive rotation.
It's growing fast. It's weird because AVAX took headlines and then it was FTM, but all the while it was really Solana that led that, and I think people almost slept on it right here. This is when AVAX blew up.
Strong as fuck, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty incredible. It's kind of got like an infinite bid on it. The volume keeps growing. Yesterday's daily candle was sort of my signal up here in the chaos levels. Like, I'm so bullish on it, but then I got to think about ROI, and I got to look around, and I got to see other charts. And I've still got some Solana, I've still got some Serum, I've got some Ray, but my size is out of that one for now, and we'll see. I expect some consolidation here after that daily candle. That a bit of a signal of a smackdown there, and that's cool. Like if that takes a month, what is that going to look like? It's like we could do this for a bit and then mark up. So that's sort of what I'm thinking anyways. And in all of that time, I got to look left and see things like AVAX. AVAX, you can see the volume came in incredibly strong. Like, kind of doesn't look real. Like, it looks like a TWAP seller, like weird shit. It just was like this explosion. And now it's just sitting in the pump station. So when I look at this chart and then I look at that chart, I think, where can I put my capital to the best, maybe 3 to 4 week term? And that's probably here. So I did rotate a bunch of that, and then sushi. There's so much. Yeah.
There's so much going on right now, and I keep talking about, like, because there's so much opportunity everywhere. Don't be a maximalist of anything other than opportunity itself. It's literally an amazing time to be in crypto. It's an amazing time to be a multi-chain kind of guy. Like, we're seeing this multi-chain future just manifest right in front of our eyes. And I think as we progress, it's becoming increasingly obvious that, it's not just Ethereum. It's not just Bitcoin. It's everything together. And I think in the future, even further out, you may not necessarily even know which chain you're using. I mean, I can imagine, these efficient chain aggregators to where liquidity is aggregated across chains, even, and this layer 0 to DeFi, to where you just go plug into this one interface, and all of the yield options are available for you right there. All of the trading options are available for you right there. It's really something that's incredible to behold.
What
have you tried Arbitrum yet?
I have not, but I have friends that have. That was on my agenda for today. I don't know if I'll get around to it or not. Here's what I've heard so far. Extremely fast, extremely smooth. But one thing I have been hearing, and this is why I don't think Arbitrum is going to have significant momentum, at least until they're able to build it out more, scale it.
Yeah.
Is that the transactions are still like $10, which, when you look at Ethereum, and those transactions, like, hey, that's very cheap, right? But when we're making transactions for less than $1 on Solana, less than $1 on Avalanche, I think that's a more friendly environment to retail, at least for the time being.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, one is friendlier in the sense of cost, and I even have family that call me. They're like, dude, I can't even sell this like shitcoin. It went down, whatever amount, 20%, and suddenly the fee is half the bag. So it's not friendly in that sense, but then I tell them, okay, yeah, get over to AVAX, and they're just like, what? Like, new wallet, new bridge, like they don't know how to get there. And so there's this unfriendliness on sort of both sides, and I think we're just going to see that develop. We're going to see eventually, and this is why I always tell people we're early, and they like, oh, you're a moon boy, but it's going to get to a point where you don't know what you're using. Whether it's, DeFi trading, it's complicated right now. You tell most people, they're scared of it. But I picture a platform where it's like a online banking, and you're just in there and you're clicking and you're moving and everything's just happening behind the scenes. And that could be next year, that could be 5 years away, but that's, it's like internet and dial-up. I mean, I used to have to get off of the internet when my parents wanted to make a phone call because they were on the same line. It was kind of absurd. And I know that's like aging me a little bit, but that was the reality. And now it's like YouTube, like you can do incredible things with the internet now. You don't even know you're doing it.
Well, it's just like a browser, like Chrome. I see this all-in-one kind of, chain aggregator as like a Chrome or a Brave or, an Internet Explorer, whatever the fuck you use. It's just like you go to this one thing and everything is there at your fingertips.
Yeah. And then Phantom Wallet is a great example, right? A few months ago, people said Solana is unusable. It's really difficult. It's confusing. I don't get it. It's not, because it's not EVM compatible. I'm the same way. I go to BSC scan now and it's like Etherscan. It's great. I don't have to relearn it. It's a format, and ETH has kind of set the tone. But Phantom Wallet came out recently and I downloaded it, checked it out, and it's very simple, very smooth. And that was just, that's one thing on year one of Solana mainnet. So it's got so much room to grow.
Yeah, and even Phantom Wallet has room to grow.
Yeah.
I got an error the other day.
Without bashing it, it also still kind of sucked a bit.
Yeah, still, even the other day, I tried to move an NFT and send it to another person and couldn't
Fuck,
do
bro,
it.
you didn't send me any NFTs.
Nah,
what are you sending?
It was it was rare. Looks rare.
I would like a rare looking NFT in my Phantom Wallet.
I never thought I'd hear you say the words "looks rare," Rob. And that's cracking me the fuck up right now.
If I find out that you got those Aurora NFTs and you didn't help me mint them, I'm gonna be really sad. That's the first mint I've tried in a little while, other than like AVAX punks, and
I know that thing was pulled out in literally 2 or 3 seconds.
I was there on second one with 3 browsers, and I was like, bing, 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 and it was just like, you failed, get the fuck out. And I just,
that thing was,
I walked away sad, and I wasn't willing to like, buy the first one on the market because I just don't know NFTs enough to ape in, my precious Solana, which I then sold for sushi, but whatever.
But Messi, the other day, I think it was yesterday morning, my tweet was FTT looks rare. As soon as I saw that headline on the Ledger X thing, and just being so just crazy.
I saw that tweet and I thought, that's when I was kind of like on the fence. I was like, I don't know, Rob, like Bitcoin looks shitty and everything needs to cool down, maybe cope, because I wanted it to. I was in. I mean, you guys remember I was long from the lows, but I wanted more. And when I saw you say that looked rare, I kind of remember just thinking like, careful, Rob. And what I should have been thinking is like, oh shit, Rob Levy just called FTT rare, long it.
Oh shit, it does look rare.
Yeah, I relearn and learn this lesson. You guys got to remember when AVAX was $3 at the start of the year, January. Rob was in my ear just saying, well, I know this guy, and he thinks AVAX will be one of the biggest plays this year. Like, Rob knows stuff. So when he talks about stuff, he's very casual, but just.
You know one of the really interesting things about the Phantom and the AVAX incentive programs is that, of course, when it was announced, Phantom's incentive program was $370 million, but it's not $370 million. It's in Phantom. So as the price of Phantom goes up, and the same with AVAX. AVAX's incentives program is 10 million AVAX. I think AVAX is a pretty sure bet for $100 plus. All of a sudden we get in this situation to where we have billion-dollar incentive programs, and I think we're going to see that situation for both Phantom and AVAX.
How about from EOS? I think EOS wants to break in there and be like, yeah, well, we raised $1 billion, so we'll take that.
I don't think anybody cares about EOS, but
no, exactly. I actually bought some EOS bull tokens this morning. Don't tell anyone, I feel dirty, but I just was sitting there, and Nick actually sent me a chart. He's like, EOS looks primed, and I was like, oh yeah, that's an L1. They raised $1 billion. I'm sure they're itching to get in on this like incentive shit. So just throwing it out there, I would never recommend anyone look at something like EOS because it just seems like a dino, but when it moves.
Someone asked me actually yesterday about EOS.
Okay.
And I said to them, I just put it blankly, I think they have like $2+ billion of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Yeah. It's kind of like a Bitcoin proxy a little bit. They just, whatever they're doing with their bull exchange or bull, I forget what the name of it is, or they're trying to launch an exchange and did stuff. I don't know. They've got a shit ton of capital. Like,
they're not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. They tend to be magicians with kind of.
Yeah, I agree. I think EOS is probably going to send, and it's probably going to be one of those things that most people aren't in on.
The salty one, yeah. The saltiest pump of the year coming up from EOS. Look, it's one of those. It's a dino coin. I put it there with Zcash and Litecoin. Like, it's just in this other realm for me. It's not sexy or fun, but Nick often just sends me these charts, and then like a week later he sends it to me in full send mode, and then I tell him how I didn't buy any. So I did. I picked up a little EOS bull token today. It's a lazy ass way to get a little extra exposure, a little bit of leverage, and it's an amount that I'm gonna probably forget that I even bought it, and we'll see in a month. I'll be like, oh yeah, I bought
you
that.
Guys, imagine the salt if EOS pulls what it did back earlier in that chart.
I can't even imagine. I really can't.
I can't either.
Yeah, I do think one theme that we're seeing here, at least in the near to medium term, is that Bitcoin dominance is fucked. Like, it's...
Sorry, shit, I'm way off, Rob. Can you repeat that? I was reading the chat. What are we imagining? I feel left out.
I'm imagining if EOS, the salt on this earth, and crypto Twitter, and if EOS does something like it did before. I mean,
looking at that chart, it's in the disbelief phase of the market cycle. I think that's very clear. It could really accelerate.
And if you really get in and dissect it, it's quietly been trending up, right? This is really the bottom, obviously, now looking back, but then it came up and it flipped this level here at 420 and retested it and then just kind of broke out. And we got new highs in volume, and now it's just kind of quietly settled into the pump chaser zone. And even today now is starting to break out a bit. So it's got, biases aside, because I have heard, and I've never actually tried it, but I've heard from people, and even in the chat now they're talking about the wallet is hard to use, their tech is bad, it's centralized. Nobody cares. I'm sorry, nobody cares, okay? The 500 million people that are about to enter crypto, they just want an easy user experience that's cheap, and if there's a centralized entity that can give them their money back when they fuck up, like Tether, I'm sure they're even happier. Sorry to say. Well, it's not the same ethos as an OG crypto that want the decentralized freedom. But nobody cares. The ones that do it like old school banks, they just do it better, they're going to be cool too.
Well, it was a relative noob who asked me. So just the fact that kind of they're looking at it. And
it's like ADA, right? Every friend of mine last year that didn't really know crypto, but it was like, hey, I heard about this ADA. What's up with it? Like the fact that they're all asking, I should have picked up on that at 30 cents, but whatever.
Yeah. But I
don't
know.
Not to get too far into the weeds on EOS, but it is one that I added today in my sort of attempt to chase Ethereum without buying the highs. Let's go look at Ethereum, because Ethereum just looks fantastic. Now, I know, Rob, you don't like when I put short reload zones on these things in a bull market, so I actually took that off for you. It's coming into levels where, like, usually I'd be like, because if you get up into this level on exhaustion, right, and you're like, if we came straight down and straight up into it, I'd be like, okay, that's a short. I'm looking for a short. The momentum is down. But this is different. This is like 3 months of reaccumulation and a strong consolidation, and now a breakout. This is not really a level that I want to see on my chart right now. I'm not thinking short, so I'll take that off. But
it's always good to have. I think you always got to have those levels there, because you have to be thinking about what the shorts are thinking. Like if
that's another way to put it.
What the market the structure is, and
this fucking guy. I finally take my short reload zone off. Now he's telling me to put it back on.
No, I'm just saying. Listen. I like seeing what the other guy is looking at and what they're thinking, because
well, look, that's where it stopped this morning, right? It pumped right into the 786 and dropped down to, you guessed it, the local pump chaser zone. No, actually didn't even. Looks like it front ran it.
Have you guys seen gas prices on Ethereum today?
Nope,
it's like 2,000 GUI right now. Like,
it's
absolutely
absurd.
Mad. You have to just consider how much Ethereum is being burned before. Right
Speaking
now.
of which, I got that right here for you.
Look, we talked about this on last week's episode. This is a new paradigm in the sense that we have an entirely new mechanic introduced into the Ethereum ecosystem. It's very, very difficult to predict what comes next. You have to remember that miners are for-profit entities, and the amount of Ethereum being burned used to be sell pressure on the market. At least a significant portion of that. So when you remove that much sell pressure from the market, Ethereum really does become scarce. Its sellers are just kind of out of coins, and it's literally like a vertical accumulation situation right now. Like I have serious.
We need to have a chat about vertical accumulation. Okay, we're gonna have a little chat about vertical accumulation. But just before I have that chat with you, 13.1 million, whatever that block number is, 47 Ethereum were burned in that one block. That's insane. I hadn't even looked at this yet.
It's huge.
42, 37, 23, 39. Entire portfolios worth of Ethereum were burned per minute or per 2 minutes.
$500 million of Ethereum burned. How long has this been active? A month?
Dude,
Less than a month.
I mean, so
couple, like 3 weeks, I think.
I agree. I think on top of
Holy
that,
shit.
Brendan in the chat brings up a great point. On top of how much is being burned, let's look at the Ethereum exchange reserves. That shit's downtrending.
Could somebody post a link to that? If you guys actually look at, I don't look at that. I should. It's probably a Glassnode thing. Maybe Daniel has one.
It's a Glassnode thing, but
yeah. I signed up for Glassnode and then I couldn't find the time. I never got into the habit of it, and then I kept seeing the charges and I just canceled it. But I like other people that look at Glassnode and share it on Twitter.
Not gonna make it.
I know. That's my extent. I mean, like, there's only so many things, and then I already don't even trade my own goddamn analysis in the newsletter. Friggin' smacked the last few weeks. Everyone's calling me up. They're like, "Bro, the newsletter, you smacked it." And I wasn't even long on friggin' Phantom last week. Look, Phantom last week, and I'm gonna say, I'm not even salty. Like, whatever. You know me, Rob. I'm numb to this shit. But look at this. The last week's newsletter, for those of you who aren't reading it, it is not a financial advice newsletter. But if you're like me and there's just so much shit to look at and you want a concentrated place to think about what's hot, the narratives, that's what I do there. And half the time, half the time, and the charts, and half the time, I spend writing the newsletter instead of actually trading it. So, but I was blown away last week. We talked about this level on Phantom when it was here. And I said, look, there's a pump chaser zone here and it's another L1. It's, it's in the buzz. And then I looked back yesterday or whatever the day it broke out, and I was like, holy shit, it literally just came in and went bing. And yeah, my cousin texted me. He's like, bro, I smacked that FTM trade. Great call. And I was like, yeah, I did not.
Fuck
bot. Yeah, so anyways, it's new highs today. Not going to see the same volume on this candle because it's not news related. We'll see how it goes. It looks like it's just going to trend up now, but you know me, I have a hard time buying.
I mean, how is the Phantom chain? I've
heard mixed reviews.
Never used it.
Yeah, but I've heard mixed reviews, but they were all from recent AVAX maxis, so who knows? But the word is that it's a little bit less user friendly, and that's just totally what I've been told. I don't know.
And one thing I would say is, if you're watching right now and you like what you're seeing, you want to hear some more, goods from us, smash that like button.
Oh yeah,
smash it, because the algo, it really looks at that stuff.
Oh yeah,
and we appreciate it. So,
yes. And where's ideas? There's some ideas. I got to get more ideas out here. It's like a bull season, and sometimes I just get out of the mode and I forget. But I love doing these ideas on here because you can't delete them, and then a year later you can come back and look at them. And there's certain ones that just age so well, they're just fun to look at. Here's Solana back in friggin' January. Just, distribution day, nice dump into the reload zone. I was like, strong volume, let's long this thing. And like, oh my God, this guy just versus Bitcoin. So get on there, follow us on TradingView, and I promise you I will start putting more of these ideas in stone, just so we can get after it. And some of them don't smack. Don't be stupid and be like, hey, there's a new idea, it's gonna smack. Look at VidT earlier this year. I got shit on, but like 2 weeks later, like I was stopped out. So you lose small, win big. That's trading's about. Keep your small losers and get your big winners. But it's a really good place, I think, to come and learn some of these levels. The chaos smacked here on ONT back in like. There's some good juice in there, guys.
Can you let's look at the ETH BTC chart here, because you put something out the other day, and this is one of the most important charts in crypto. I think it's becoming potentially less important as we've got more transaction volume on other layer ones, and Ethereum's losing its dominance. But I mean, let's take a look here.
We should look at ETH dominance too, now that you bring it up, because I've been charting that. I've got a chart on it. I'll go find it in a sec. This is significant. And so this is, to me, when you said, the start, because you're right, it has been flying. And since mid-July, we were talking about the lows, about it's probably just a place to think about longs if you're ever going to trade. And so we've been kind of bullish on it. But this is the beginning of a new thing. Look, May, this was the top. right? And then ever since then, Ethereum, Bitcoin has just been moving sideways, doing fuck all. And it quietly broke out after EIP 1559, slid in here, started forming. If you zoom in, it's a little clearer, but there was a little consolidation here. I don't know if I love that triangle, but it was there. And so that breakout here 2 days ago was kind of like, holy shit, is it going to go? And now it's like, yeah, actually, I am going to go. Yeah. So, and ETH BTC, for those of you guys who weren't around, this kind of stuff, when Ethereum, Bitcoin does this, that's when altcoins go nuts versus Bitcoin. Absolutely bananas. And so when we see this, it's not like, ooh, Ethereum's up 15% today. It's a significant breakout on a higher time frame chart. So this is, arguably 1559 signaled that it was coming, maybe, and now it's like, yeah, okay, cat's out of the bag.
If let's take a look at the other side of the coin. If you are more protective or more not as bull-tard, which I happen to be most of the time, on a horizontal level, can we expect to see consolidation here, or at least like friction, right? People who didn't sell their Ethereum into Bitcoin at this level last time. Is this one of those places where, we can expect to see traffic?
Yeah, we're at resistance. We're in a short reload zone locally. So this is, and in a way, even though we've broken out of the triangles and the trend lines, we haven't broken all-time highs, or at least yearly highs. So there's absolutely resistance in the playing cards here. And I, at this point, actually, again, that same cousin this morning, he said, should I rotate my Bitcoin overall into ETH? And I said, like, you could start, because I do think it's a broader, higher time frame breakout. But, would I like margin up here, ETH long versus Bitcoin? No, that's just asking to get washed, because you could come down now. And this isn't like, oh, it's going to come down, but you could come down, even as far as down here and still be bullish.
Right?
Yeah. That's the key to being long, right? You want to be long in a place where you're in validation, where you're no longer bullish, is very close to your entry. Whereas here, you've got all this room where it's actually still quite bullish, and you don't want to get soaked up underwater. So,
RT, yeah. Dan wants in.
Oh, yeah, okay. You guys chat it up. I'm gonna plug them in here.
All right.
This.
I think we've seen some extra salt, some extra, I don't know what I would call it, from the ETH maxis lately. What we've seen really up until, obviously we're up, almost 10% today in Ethereum price, but they've been watching a lot of other layer ones do the thing, like, and really, double and triple and gain a shit ton of network value. And like Ethereum, it's still the main layer one. Daniel, would you disagree?
No, not at all. It's very obvious. When you look at gas prices and you're saying, holy shit, that's high. Like, it's high for a reason. A lot of people are using Ethereum, and I think that the NFT game, has taken over the Ethereum ecosystem. NFTs are all the rage right now. There's a lot of really cool shit going on. Of course, everybody's going nuts about this shit called loot now, which came out earlier in the week. And the thing is there's an extremely high demand for this stuff. So, gas prices are going to continue to be high. We're going to continue to burn a shitload of Ethereum, and Ethereum's going to continue to go up. Ethereum's going to make a new high versus Bitcoin, at least locally, I'd say within the next week, if not sooner. And it's just going to be fucking game over from there. We don't live in the same world we lived in 2017. I still believe wholeheartedly that this cycle Ethereum will flip in Bitcoin. And the reason is the token economics, the deflationary mechanics that have been implemented, the amount of users that use Ethereum on a daily basis, and then just the amount of utility the network itself has. What the fuck can you do with Bitcoin? Hold it. There's people that are using Ethereum every fucking day. Like, it's a part of their lives now.
Can I drop some alpha?
Please.
Drop the alpha.
Welcome, by the way.
Yeah, baby. Drop that alpha.
What's up, guys? I'm gonna come in fucking hot, like at a night.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is good. No, I was on with a a large investor last night, and he said basically that after Labor Day, there's a lot of cash on the table, and that's looking to redeploy, like kind of going into the fall, and none of it's going to Bitcoin.
Ooh. Okay, so I got to get my Solana bags back before the end of next weekend. Before you got on the stream, I did point out to the guys that I took some profits on those just to rotate them into sushi, but I got to get them back now because when you say that, you're not talking. I mean, maybe Ethereum, but I know.
No.
Solana.
Okay, let me be more detailed.
Yeah.
Because I asked him this very question, and he's like, they're all over ETH.
Okay, shit.
Because they just, it's basically the second most well known.
It's the most investable.
It's the most investable one for it, and it's exactly right.
Yeah,
it's got the large, market cap. It just has all of the elements. The ones
and
that
liquid,
once they get in and they start talking in the right circles, and like they start to see what's being built where, they will end up at Solana, they'll end up in ETH. But like, I agree with you guys. Like, you're never going to have no exposure to ETH. But I do know funds that like started like heavy Bitcoin that are almost like zero Bitcoin and heavy everything else.
Interesting. I personally find Bitcoin boring. I mean, the ROI has just been washed out of it locally. I think it will make new highs. I think it'll have its moment and dominance will rally someday when everything else is overcooked. But it's like, what, we're going to 2x up to 70K? Like we eat 2x's for breakfast in altcoin town. So like we had a 2x this morning actually on ApeX. Shout out to the apes. Shout out to the apes. This thing totally washed out. It looked like an exit scam. It definitely was not. And when it broke out here from the trend line, I just picked some up, and it's up like 3x today. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it, Bitcoin. I love you. You're the king, but it's I'm not here for that.
Now, this has been a fucking monster.
It's been fun. Yeah, it's been silly.
The funny thing is, and with these meme coins, a lot of the really successful ones, have these really hard run-ups and then very hard sell-offs. And the thing is people make a lot of money fast. The whales exit. At least some of them do. That crashes the chart. People freak out. They sell. We're talking about something that went negative 94% after going up a shit ton in a matter of days. And then when you look at the actual distribution of this now and the liquidity that's available, we have a situation to where no one holder now has the ability to nuke that chart. So it has been really, really interesting to see this recovery. It's over 10x now from the lows in literally a day's time, 2 days time. So super, super interesting. I almost think that Apex is sucking the liquidity out of everything else in the Apex ecosystem. You can see that on the charts. Actually.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. When I go into all the AVAX chats that I'm in, they're only talking about Apex and then ShibX, right? There's always that one guy. What about my meme coin? I did pick up a little ShibX today because it was at the lows, and if it's going to be meme season, let's go.
It has been moving. The dog money, the ape money.
Oh, yeah, it's up. I bought it right here today, just as it was starting to break highs. I said, "Fuck it, I'm getting some ShibX." It looks like it's, it doesn't look like much, but then look, it's like it's a shitcoin. So like this thing is up. That's what is that? Let's go see. It's freaking 50%, Rob. 50%. It barely moved. I never trade these things. Daniel, you got me into these things last week, and
you're wild, man.
Looks like we lost Gunny, but now I'm just like, okay, why not? But at the lows though.
Wild.
At the lows though.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I was talking about earlier. We kind of ran out of shit to do in the AVAX ecosystem. The ecosystem hasn't been built out enough yet, and now meme coins are going nuts. The apes are bored. Like people want to be entertained. People want to feel that rush, and well, guess what? They're buying the ape money. They're buying the dog money. It just is what it is. But the thing is when we're really talking about seeding an ecosystem with new users, people that are there and they're ready, the invisible hand knows that the meme coins are the coins that bring new retail participants in. So, I am looking forward to see, is there any meme coin in this ecosystem that does pull like a Safe Moon or a Shiv or something like that.
There actually is a Safe Moon as well. It's up 200% today.
Safe Moon A has been ripping. Yeah.
Now look, Rob, you're shaking your head, and I agree with you. But I missed the whole last dog season, and then this thing came, and that was kind of a proof of concept, right? Now, here's an epiphany I had this morning about these coins as I was kind of like rubbing the shame off myself in the shower after aping into both of them this morning. When you're trading against somebody, right? You're trading, it's a game, whatever you want to, you're trading against people. And when I'm trading Bitcoin or FTT and some of these really liquid coins where you just know the guy on the other side of half these trades is just a bot run by Alameda and you're getting rinsed. And then I think, who am I trading against when I trade friggin' Safe Moon, right? I'm trading against a squad that I can count on to buy the highs and sell me the bag back at the lows.
Okay, normal coins, like DeFi coins, people sell green and buy red. When we look at meme coins, people buy green and sell red.
Yes.
It's a totally different dynamic. So it's
so
really
that's what
interesting,
I
especially
figured out today.
Like Apex has almost $5 million in liquidity now and is a $20 million cap coin. Like, I called it anti-pleb technology on my stream yesterday because it's true. You don't have anybody with a small stack that's able to come in and put any red on that chart, period. And the fact that the chart stays green is just a magnet. People want to come in and buy the shit that stays green. Green good, green make me happy.
Green good, ape good, yeah. And so that's the epiphany I had today, is that maybe I should get in here at these like crazy lows. I mean, I didn't buy the capitulation because I honestly was like, is this thing ever coming back? But once it shows signs of waking up, I'm happy to wait for the reversal and then get in. And now I'm just like, okay, so I'm trading against a crowd that I feel like I have a good edge over. And when we get into some of these highs, I don't think this all-time high will last. I think it looks like we're blasting off. And like you said, it's 20 million. So what did some of the shit ones in the spring run to? Like SHIB, like billions.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, like crazy high.
So can I get 100 million? Can I get a fraction of that? What is that, like 5x from it? Like, that's insane. So I am here for it. I'm going to trade it. I actually already sold, I got my initial back because it is a meme coin, and I don't know. But I got my initial back. I'm free rolling this thing, and we're going to the moon.
Not going to make it.
That's it. Yeah, I know. Everyone says that. They're like, you're not going to make it. I'm like, well, I actually just guaranteed that I will, sir.
Yeah.
That's called locking in a win on day one.
But funny thing is, we talk about the guy who was whispering in my ear about AVAX early, saying it was his pick to click, and he was early on Bitcoin, like, a 2011 guy. But the one thing where I completely wrote off because I was listening to everybody else and all the scam talk was he was all over Hex. Early.
Yeah, right about that shit too.
Rob, the same guy I'm thinking about.
Yes, all over Hex. For some reason, I was like, fuck no, because everything else I read and heard was that Richard Hart, fucking scam, all this shit. And that might be, the single best performer.
I am such a
it is.
Look at
Holy shit.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Just a cool.
Rob, I kind of have some words for you about like not shilling this to me.
I'm an idiot for like writing it off because of I'm too listening to everybody else who said scam.
Ponzi, yeah. Like, I mean, BitConnect made a lot of people very rich if they managed to get out. But it's same as that. I only ever heard about it being a scam.
My God, look at that.
Not a scam on that level.
Dude, can you? I can't even see like.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the price.
What's it like A to B? Yeah.
Bro, that shit is up a gazillion %, and it just keeps going up, dude. There's people that are coming in and locking up their Hex for 10 and 15 years.
I know.
They sent my 12-year-old daughter a fucking piece of snail mail.
That's incredible.
125%.
That's incredible. There's people that actually think that in 10 or 15 years that this is going to be their kid's college fund. It really is a
here's the sick thing. What if it is? But it's up 100.
One candle.
Yeah, one candle. See ya. It's up 125%
Way more than
or
that.
excuse me, 125x. But on top of that, I think you actually get paid like Hex, right? You stake it, and the longer you stake it, the more you get. So these people, their base is up, but they're actually getting like dumped extra Hex on their face.
So you have to start listening to like all of the tweet bots that like get stuffed into like the things that you can't see, because it's just like buy Hex, buy SafeMoon, buy
But remember, so then Hex has this other thing, this Pulsechain thing, which bottom line, I saw it in this group, and I heard it, and I was like, fuck this. It was about the sacrifice. And And then Crypto Krusty, what's up, homie? You're in the chat. He was all like, I got confluence from him telling me, yo, this, because he heard us talking about it a little bit. You gotta get into this. And I was like, you know what? I'll make the sacrifice. So you had to like sacrifice a certain amount of ETH. And I mean, I don't even know where Pulsechain, I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but I wasn't going to not take part in that one. So I did make a sacrifice. I know, Colin, RT, you made a sacrifice too, right?
I did. I sent some ETH into that. I'm assuming it's gone. I haven't heard anything later.
Oh my God.
So apparently Krusty said it's actually more like 2000x, but we weren't looking at the full chart history. So yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. If you bought Hex sometime earlier this year, you're up bigly. It's at all-time highs today. You've made money. And you know, but Rob is a bit like me. Like, we'll look at things and, you know, SHIB and the Doge and all that. We just miss it because we're like, we don't understand it. It's the edge. It's like, it's weird and it'll just nuke and I'll feel stupid. But there's we're learning. I think we're learning quickly, and I'm not touching Hex. Obviously, it's way, 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 way up. And you might zoom out, and in a year it'll be up here, and you'll say, "Oh, it was still good." But
RT, I've wasted the entire last year trying to learn as much as I can about DeFi. And a few weeks ago, I had a revelation, and that revelation was, "Hey, dude, why have you literally spent countless hours becoming a DeFi expert when every single time, without fail, the dog money, the meme coin, the Hex outperforms you significantly? You know, are you going to be one of those guys that sits there and copes and misses out on the real pumps? Or are you going to get in some fucking meme coins and finally get your pound of flesh?" And, you know, I decided to get in some fucking meme coins. You know, it's not a large percentage of my portfolio, but I have enough exposure to where if the meme coins do go fucking crazy, then, you know, I get to benefit from that. You know, and I think that it's silly not to have a little bit of exposure to the shit that just makes you angry.
What does meme coin mean? Does it mean that it has explosive nature because people want to be involved with it? I mean, like,
to me, it means that there's not a big company of people building a useful product behind it that's going to revolutionize the world. It's literally like a coin that will probably go up in price because it's fun and cute, and it's like Doge 2.0.
It's not a productive asset. You know, there's no like. Yeah. There's none of that shit. There's no fundamentals. The fundamentals are, you know, that the number goes up and that everybody is buying the coin because they think the coin's going to the moon. You know, like that's. And
they're not looking at charts.
They're not looking at charts.
They're looking at TikTok.
They're just fucking buying.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the meme coins always go fucking nuts because of this.
I mean, look at GME stock. It's not a crypto thing, right? It was like, hey, this is fun. This is my life savings, and we're going to hold it because fucking right. Yeah, we're part of a group. And so it's more a story about, like you said, reanalyzing the situation, right? And I'm the same way as you. Like, I was looking at things like, this is the most valuable. This is the most maybe world changing. But then it's like, no. What are people going to buy at absurd valuations? Well, you can't put a value on friggin' SHIB because there's no... You know, even in crypto, even in the most like productive assets, okay, you can find some FA and some valuations, but these things have it's human imagination, and that's the thing that'll run hottest.
Yeah, like what am I missing though? Like, I think we're at a point. I'm not going to give the I minute for the tech speech, but like, we're at a point where there are really productive assets that actually have very disruptive implications across whether it's finance or whatever it is, right? And like, it's still really early with those. And like how much did Solana move in the last 4 weeks?
Oh, it's so big.
Yeah, for this For the size of its cap, it moved a lot. Let's get
right?
I mean, Dan, you have to remember though, that the average crypto investor doesn't, they're not thinking about like long-term investing horizons. They're not thinking about productive assets. They're thinking about getting rich quick. No. Why would
yes.
they? You're assuming that everybody is approaching this from like the educated, intelligent investor perspective. That's been a huge flaw in my thinking for a while. It's literally just fucking apes going crazy in a casino, and they don't want your productive assets at all.
Well, it kind of goes back
hard for them to understand it.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to 2017. Like, who was behind that insane 100x alt season rally? I mean, there was for sure some whales putting floors in and starting the party, but who overbid the market, right? It was the mom and pop retails. It was that Thanksgiving weekend where everything just mooned because everyone had been making money in September, went home and told everybody about it in November. And then they all got shit on. There was people mortgaging houses to buy Bitcoin at 20K.
Do these people keep the money they make? They actually keep it, or do they give it back to the market?
No, they all give it back, and that's the sad thing. Like the vast majority give it back, and you can see it in telegrams. Like,
so how is that? How does that promote the guys?
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying as a trader.
I'm like, as a trader, like I don't like it could be a rock. It doesn't fucking matter.
ETH rocks. They're like
if I could buy
$1 million
ones
right
and sell eights on it like over and over again, I'd do it all day, right? But like, I'm just trying to be someone on this in this group that is kind of taking the other side of the coin here, and like, let's not.
Dan, I tried to be that guy, and I tried to be that guy. I try to use logic. I try to make those arguments, and over again, I just kept being wrong. So eventually, I just had to flip my stance. It just is what it is.
Here's the thing, though.
I 1,000% appreciate it. Just is what it is.
Look, having never really traded these, I'm fucking around today, and like I said, with even with Apex, like I already sold what I bought. Like yesterday, like half of it. Sorry, like I took my initial back. So I'm not like, ooh, this is a great investment, balls to the walls. I think it's gonna pump like crazy. It already has today, but. All that to say, I never really traded these meme coins through the spring. And so like Daniel said, it's like, not going to make it. But I've done very well. I mean, my returns month over month portfolio from last January, end of the bear market until now is ridiculous, like compared to what I would have expected. And the thing is, though, I never hit like a smacky home run. I know somebody who put $600 into SHIB and it went to $16 million, and they sold it. And now they're like, why would I ever trade, these other
anything ever again on Earth?
Yeah,
exactly.
Why would you trade anything ever again? But more importantly, like, this isn't like an in real life buddy of mine, for the record. It's like somebody I know through DMs and stuff. But like, that's what they did, and they just said, like, now they can ape into every one of these for 10K and not give a shit because one of them has to hit 800x or whatever. It's going to be ridiculous, right? And they've made that's their trading plan now. It's entirely about finding these little memers right out of the gates off the smart contract, and they just put some in and they rotate. And
I'll tell you,
I'm never going to hit one of those, though. That's what I realized. So now I'm fucking around a bit.
I feel like I'm not going to make it because I have not made it. I have not participated in the meme coin.
Yep.
I feel like an idiot.
See, but here's the thing. You've done well too. Like that's the other side of it.
That's kind of my point. Like,
I know.
Yeah, you can do really well.
You can do well without participating in the meme coin stuff, but I feel like I've completely missed the boat on that. But I've caught some other stuff that, like, I believe has some value, has some network value, has people using it, like this Arweave rally, right? I tweeted a month ago, 2 months ago, that I'm hearing about Arweave. Like, I think I wrote something about the signal, right? I'm getting the signal is coming from multiple angles and entities to where I thought Arweave was like a no-brainer. And it was a big fun guy who it was like one of their biggest positions. And then I heard from Bartosz Lipinski, one of the great wizard genius developers of Solana, who he said like he was working with them. He was using them in a big way for Solana for the NFTs, and he's like, their usage is going through the roof. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. this is a no-brainer. And so like when you're hearing it from multiple entities, that's kind of that's where I focus rather than the meme stuff, because quite frankly,
so what's the multiple on that since since I tweeted
it,
like July lows?
Yeah, when I tweeted it, it was $9. So it's been like a what is that?
700% since the July lows. I mean, it's outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum hit its 2x today. Actually, I had a buddy, I retweeted him. He literally bought, like, Ethereum bottomed at the 618, like the reload zone, and he just bought it, and he just sold half on a double today. It's like,
can we put
700%
on TradingView? Can't you like find or do something where you like look at Robbie Levy's tweet and put it on their chart or something? We don't have to do it.
I've never done that, but you should definitely put that out there. People are enjoying
Robbie,
that
put
shit.
in your paid group.
Yeah, John. Yeah, Rob's one good tweet away from putting out a paid group here.
He's really close, man. I'm feeling it.
I gave all my money to Silicone, and I'll never do another paid group.
Oh, you bought that $50,000 trading bot, bro, with a 90% win rate?
I bought the pre-sale of the trading bot.
Shut up! Did you actually?
No.
Are you fucking
dude? Come on.
Oh man, you had me there, man. Canadians
Mr.
don't take
Gullible.
that shit too well. We're so gullible.
No, but the dude, like, Silicone early on was really out there on Twitter, and then, it's been a hilarious follow. But some of the latest pictures of him, like him shirtless at his new computer setup, is just like,
oh, dude, why would you do that to yourself? I mean, that was just the biggest cell phone I've ever seen.
Yeah. You got to figure he's having fun with it now, though. Not taking
did he
it
have
too
like
of course
seriously.
he is.
100-inch television in front of him? Like that's a computer screen.
Yep.
Oh, it's a monster thing. It made me
Dude, who
dizzy.
made that? Somebody made the meme of like his arm really.
Yeah, the memes were fantastic.
It's pretty good. It's funny because we can still remember the names of some of the biggest.
They make him like a Coomer. They made him into a Coomer.
Recall. Remember Eric Cho? Anyways, we don't get into all the old scammers.
yeah,
but
no, they had those two. But
there's
the
a
one
lot of
thing
them.
About Arweave here, I would just, you need to stress, because you need to watch these things. This thing is super illiquid. You can't even
I noticed that. Yeah.
On any real exchanges, because no exchanges want to list it spot because it's its own blockchain, and you got to list the whole fucking wallet system and all that. So no one's really doing it. So it
is on Binance, but it's hard. Like I tried to buy, 500 of them back down here, and I had to bid the book up. And so if a big wave of buyers comes in, now look, the most recent high we just got was on the highest volume. So this is breakout stuff. This is not an area again where I can buy, but look at this pump chaser zone. This is me missing my analysis again because I was watching Arweave, in the field of like 50 things, and I did not buy this. But I had a bag. I sold it somewhere here.
Like, I want to find this echo pump. Like, what is the echo for this? I know it's like data storage, but these blockchains are not efficient at storing data, right? So Solana uses Arweave for the whole NFT system, really.
When you say that, I saw this coin today that was something like that. So serendipitous that I'm going to pull it up. Prometheus. I don't know. I passed on it, but it said decentralized framework for data monetization. Is that what that is? Maybe. I don't know why I was looking at it. So sorry to interrupt.
All I know is like the Solana guy, they're uploading all the like tons of data to Arweave. They're using it. That's what you want to see. Like when this stuff is really getting used and like that usage is exploding. There you have it. I mean, to me, that's easier than the meme coin. I'm not a good like gauge of meme coin like potential. I can't.
You got to start watching Shitcoin Church because that's where I got into it.
Yeah,
it's really just a matter of liquidity, Rob. It's a matter of liquidity and it's a matter of distribution. It's got to be liquid enough for the whales to play, and also the distribution has to be such so that one person can't put an end to it. So if you do find a meme coin, with those characteristics, then it can absolutely go ballistic. That not one person having the power to just crush the market is very important. And one of the interesting things, the next generation of meme coins all seem to have these reflector mechanics. And basically what that means is that there's a tax on transactions. Let's say it's 5%. And as people transact, and as that transactional velocity increases, that 5% tax is continuously streamed, or whatever percentage it is, to anybody that's holding these tokens. So these tokens automatically, over time, take care of the distribution. Coins are constantly flowing from weak hands to strong hands, which is interesting. And that's something that, you see with Apex, that's something you see with ShibX. I would assume the SafeMoon token on AVAX is the same way. But the fact that we can continuously redistribute that supply and get them in hands that aren't going to sell, as time progresses, the upside also increases.
That's a cool concept. It took me till ShibX to figure that out. It just makes it tricky when you go to post LP and stake and all that fun DeFi shit, and then you're getting eaten up every time you make a transaction. It's like kind of kills the liquidity, I would think. Except for an Apex, they kind of pull it themselves and make it into the liquidity, so it's kind of cool.
Hey, Metsy, have you looked into the mechanism behind like UST, which is the stable coin for
No, I really need to. I've heard that the Luna token itself has fantastic Ponzi-nomics, which is one of the reasons it continues to go up.
Why did we not talk about those Ponzi-nomics at $6? We were on the stream.
Well,
we talked about the coin, but I didn't know it was that cool.
I feel like a lot of guys in the chat were like pounding the fucking table on it.
Luna's such a monster. Look at that shit. It's fucking ridiculous.
We covered it here, and Rob said, Mike Novogratz from Galaxy is tweeting about Luna. We should probably pay attention to that. And
10, right?
And the market wasn't as blowhard at the time, so I thought, okay, worst case, like, okay, I missed it, but we'll come to resistance and then trickle down, and I'll buy my reload zone. Wow, look who's in the dust right now. But having said that, and it's been a monster. It's now been a monster. Do you guys see the big buy volume to support those new highs? Because I don't. I keep
seeing, and this is why I'm asking.
We're at the levels.
Because I'm not doing the research myself right this second. But what I'm keep seeing is that the Rube Goldberg model they have with the burning mechanism and all this stuff with their stable coin, that it really is supportive. So if more people are using the state, like it's all about, you get people using stable coin, you get more in production, then like more Luna gets burned. You never know. I mean, I need to dig into it. I look to Messi and other savants who really look at these models to kind of tell me, this thing is.
Now, I'm not here to give financial advice, so I won't. But if I had a friend call me today and say, should I go buy Luna? I would say, fuck no, bro. That was a sick trade. That was a really nice SR flip to signal it. There was rising buy volume. The buy volume has not followed the price, and we're at the fib extension on bearish divergence. We're at the, pay yourself right now is what I would tell them. And if you're not in yet, I'd say, at the very least, can we get a pump chaser zone? Can we get something that is at least part of a plan?
The issue with Luna right here is that, we're in this layer one frenzy right now. And there's a lot of competition. And there's really not much to do in the Luna ecosystem at all. It's fantastic that Luna's been a monster. It's fantastic that it's gone up. But I would assume that some of these other layer ones are going to begin to cannibalize Luna TVL and users, especially with potential $1 billion+ incentives programs on the way.
Yeah, no, I've heard about it. I never once clicked on it. I should have. Some guys at TRI were really bullish on it from the lows, buying up reload zones as they do, right? And it was just one of those ones. I just whatever, add it to the list, baby.
Bitcoin's pushing up right now. RT.
Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. But yeah, this look at this. This is just picture perfect Dan written all over it. Not quite the Dan level at 88.6, but right into that 786. You don't care.
This looks
real
like Bitcoin.
Iron.
This is a microcosm of Bitcoin. Look at the pump to 20, and then that 6,000, then the dip.
Yeah, a lot of USD pairs just look like this because
they all do.
Yeah, they all do.
There's
some exceptions, but the
crypto,
majority,
tech cycle, boom bust cycle.
The majors do, and and if you guys went through this fear cycle and you sold some shit, you feel like you misplayed it, don't lose your head over it because we've all done it. I would say almost everyone on this panel has fucked up at one point or another. You learn from it. check out the Fear and Greed Index. Right now, it is back into greed. Not quite extreme greed. It was extreme greed last week. So is like, wait, if you ever see Fear 10 again, smarten up. Think about it. Don't read the news and hear about China banning things and ruining it. Like, buck up, look for a reload zone, and get long. Because this is, but now what? Now everyone wants to get long on Luna at the Chaos Piers ETH 5 weeks later. Like, makes me uncomfortable. But that's the way she goes. What was the one you just mentioned we were going to look at? Somebody just mentioned, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's moving. Let's go see. Oh yeah, that Bitcoin thing. Bitcoin is at resistance. I was getting nervous. It was at this daily, weekly resistance. It was kind of like lower highs, and it was just like, fuck. Are you going to ruin this September party? But the September 1st came, and we got nice big breakout volume pushing back into that for like the 8th time. So if we break out from here, I don't even know that that's going to ruin alt season, but it's going to definitely give it the green light. And if it, I think in the 50s, I don't think the party's over as far as like trading against Bitcoin profitably. If we go to all-time highs or even close, of course, get out of altcoins, get into Bitcoin. That'll be my play. But for now, I think a break into this kind of range is probably just green light for more of this shit, especially with ETH BTC still breaking higher.
I've got a question for Messi here, and it's going to get maybe a little technical and in-depth, but I know that he's the most knowledgeable on this specific coin, and he was super bullish it before. But let me ask you something. Bancor, right? BNT. Okay. Why would on FTX.com, and I survey all the lending rates just to look at them and see what's going on, but why would they be paying 100% annualized to users to lend out their BNT token right now? What could that person who's borrowing Bancor coin, is there a lot greater than 100% annualized like APY that they can be getting with their Bancor elsewhere? That's like, black and white.
I don't believe so. The yield on Bancor is fantastic. But I think the thing is with Bancor is the liquidity is so deep. I mean, you can throw on a massive basis trade and just collect that funding. I mean, when I say deep liquidity, I mean like 9 figures deep. So if I want to buy $20-30 million worth of Bancor and then just short it and just freaking print, with no exposure to movement, it would be easy to do.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. It's like it's one of those things when I look up and down, and you can go to view base, you can go to different resources that show you kind of what the lending rate is on stuff, and just the futures kind of the basis, but it's like consistently paying significant rates to people who have physical Bancor to lend out. That like there's got to be something more to it. Like people must be there's got to be something. So I know that you were a big Bancor fan. It's still like, look at that chart. It's if it decides to run, it's got 2x at least in it before the highs. Like, I don't know. It's just it continues.
We had a great trade on that.
Yeah.
Let's look at the pink list, because Uni is the leader, and it just broke out from this consolidation here. I don't have it drawn on the chart, but there's a little triangle here, and it broke out yesterday, and it's continuing today. So now we've got the pink list. We've got BNT. We got the AMMs. We got 1 inch. 1 inch started moving today. I was kind of predicting that it might trend up. It looks like it is. CRV lagging a bit, but it's not as much an AMM, or at least not as well known, although it is super liquid. I used it the other day. It's like, big. You can take size and get like $100 spread. It's pretty dope. Balancers breaking up today. Like, your buddy KMC, Perp's kind of already up there. It's a little bit out of that wheelhouse. And then Sushi, my baby. Sushi's the one I'm long on, not versus ETH though. Damn it.
Whoa.
That's not breaking up.
Wait, that it's not breaking out, but
it's keeping up.
No, it looks like it's got root. Like, Shit.
Yeah.
Rare.
Looks rare. This is the sushi chart that I put out yesterday.
Monster.
It wasn't at the PCC, but it just started moving off it. I said, fuck it. I missed it a little bit, but I'm getting in because
Monster.
of Uni. You know, ETH breaks. Look, I know, Rob, you laughed at the start. You said, are you kidding me? The start? But look at ETH BTC. Like, look at this chart. And we've been just consolidating since the May highs. Yes, this is the start of the next leg. And this is a chart that I actually put together last summer when I first started with Hxro Labs, and we were looking at these lows and these levels at June and July, and it's just fun to look back now and be like, well, look how far we've come, and we're almost certainly headed for another leg here, and that's going to take us most likely to the fib extension. That's kind of how the market's been working lately, just fib up, fib down, fib up, fib down. So it's going to be an exciting Q4. We still got some Q3 left, and I didn't expect it this soon, but here we are.
Is Pith going to swallow Link?
Pith?
I
Well,
think
so the
When
chain link
token?
argument.
I want to buy Pith.
The chain link argument against Pith is essentially that you don't want the people, you don't want your Oracle service to be the people that you're also trading against, which I think is a valid argument. But at the same time, when you look at the Pith network, you look at what they're building, you look at who's behind it, the amount of capital, the quality of engineers. I do think that Pith is going to be an absolute monster, and I can't wait for a fucking token. So when token, I think that's one of those no-brainer punts, and I would even be willing to hold that longer term.
It feels like something like ICP though that could just launch with like a $50 billion fully diluted, whatever that was. It was very,
sure.
It just launched at this ridiculous valuation, and then it just perps
Dump
to
80% and then full send.
Yeah, like sushi and all the curve, like all those. I don't know.
I cannot remember a coin where I'm hearing more and more from people when token, when can I buy this thing? I think they're one of the best executing teams on earth. I think they're gonna wow us all. And to me, when people ask me about it, like I think it's like the bluest of blue chips. I think that's how we're gonna look at it.
You're getting a taste of like how it's very successful, like how jump trading operates.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Topher just said
it's just like he's just a special guy, and like
Topher just said Link is dead, and then looking at this chart, and I think now we have everything we need. We have the
I don't
recipe.
think Link is dead at all. That shit is gonna fucking send.
No, I know. I'm sure Topher was half kidding too, but I just, for lulz, this breakout again. Look, guys, we have a huge daily close coming up in a minute and a half because of the level, right? This is across the board, right? These breakout levels, if they hold, and I'm talking about FTT as well. I promised everyone we could take a look at Dan's face when we saw the FTT chart today. Dan, look at the chart. Make a face. People are here.
I like this. I like this exercise. Let's do it. What's your reaction to this?
The people are here for the face. But look, if this closes above all-time highs, that's it. I mean, if it gets knocked back down, you can expect a little cool down, whatever, blah blah blah. But if we close above this high, like we do on so many charts today, if we get a strong hour and a half right now, ooh, baby.
I mean, guys, FTT is one of the most interesting tokens out there because it literally catches tailwinds from everything that happens in crypto. If crypto performs really well, this shit just fucks. And I do think that it's severely undervalued in that regard. And it's a good bet on everything. I don't have to bet on Ethereum. I don't have to bet on Bitcoin. Why don't I just bet on FTT? I'm betting on the ecosystem, and I'm betting on Sam, which has been a no-lose strategy.
Sam?
Yeah. No, Sam Basket has been, here's the thing, and for anyone watching, maybe you guys have experienced this. I finally did the DCA this summer, right? We talked about that, how I suck at like just buying the depression and just slowly getting into things. But then it got to a point where that portfolio reached a size where, just the little burps in the market were like an amount I'm not comfortable watching draw down. And that's part of why I rotated out, because they're all at chaos PRZs and shit. But I feel like I'm going to look back in like a month, 2 months, 3 months and be like, oh, I sold all my Solana after the first big leg. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude,
but
I
it is
just want to
uncomfortable.
say, like, there's certain names in the space, and this is kind of going back, I guess, my theme for today. There's certain names that, like, when they're selling off or when they're in a dip, it's one thing to like the names that I get in and keep getting into. I I'm at that point where it's like, I don't care if they go lower, because as long as you have a good understanding of I feel like I have somewhat of a clear vision of what the world might look like in the future and how these components play in, and you have enough understanding of the players behind it. It's you feel good about, this is the thing to me of the meme coin versus something that actually has some level, is like a quote unquote productive asset. You should feel okay. It's a lot easier to actually buy into those and accumulate positions when you know that that asset actually, there's something behind what it is that they're doing, relative to meme coin. You don't, I mean, you can use the chart, I guess, but that's pretty much all you got to go off of. That's my take on it. No,
and you're absolutely right. And as I talk to you guys, I'm already plotting buying it back. It was this candle. Again, I agree with you, man. And I actually think of you guys every time I hover over the sell button. It's not like a panic sell. It's like, holy shit, I got paid this month.
And that makes sense, though.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a different thing, right? You're investing. You've got a broader, time horizon, which I do too. But
you also went parabolic, and Solana had a hiccup in the thing that was the biggest driver of it. They had this
Aurora?
Little hiccup that it's such a microscopic nothing in the scheme of everything. But it's a good idea. I think that was smart. Ethereum hasn't made them has been quiet for a long time. People are making money, being long in other ecosystems, and it just seemed to make sense. It would make sense to shave some of that off and rotate.
I did, yeah. In the high, the 115 to 125, I was getting paid. But look, it's also a bit of a cowboy mentality. I think I can rotate, right? I think if this is going to mark, okay, yeah, maybe it goes a bit higher, but most of the move is cooked now, for now. And do I look at Sushi and Ethereum breaking out, and I think I can rotate into that wave, and then maybe get back in some kind of pump chaser zone, and then Solana, and then I'm back in. That's the perfect scenario. But the thing is sticking to that plan. So when those dips hit and those alerts hit, which I haven't set, I should set an alert, that I actually get back in.
Well, let's talk about, I think, the hardest part about trading. Those alerts, those dips where you're okay, I'm gonna buy this dip. Usually sentiment, everything you're looking at is absolute dog shit at that point, and you're oh, this shit's fucking tanking.
Yeah, so it's hard to get back in.
It's hard to make those buys because think about it. You get some big red candles there, and you're ugh, doesn't look good. But I mean, you gotta have a system.
Yeah, well, Arweave is a perfect example. The market wasn't in full send mode on August 26th, even last week. I mean, some things were. Solana was in that, and I actually didn't know the Arweave Solana connection. But thanks, Rob. But during this dip, this thing had already moved quite a bit. And if you go back here, you're thinking oh, sick pump. Let me take some profit. And then when it does come into that pump chaser zone, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not always easy in the moment. In fact, people get really fucking bearish at this 382. It's weird.
Fuck yeah, you do. It looks like it's. I mean, because
it looks like it's cooked.
Exactly, and that's the hardest part about trading.
And that's why I've been beating the drum about the pump chaser zone on Twitter, because it is absolutely the season for this thing. I mean, and I haven't even, the guy who created it, I haven't even traded it nearly to the maximal level that I should. So I've started getting really aggressive at pump chaser levels right now on things, most recently Sushi. I basically rotated 50 to 60% of my, SBF bags into Sushi.
Which technically is an SBF bag.
Yeah, that's the best part. That's the best part. It was the underperforming SBF bag. And look at it, just coming in here. So in a week, are we going to look back and be oh, it did an Arweave? I think so.
I will say that's exactly the text I wrote to a buddy who was asking me about, what else to buy right now, because he was happy. I was putting him on Solana and his new FTX US account. And I said, to be honest, I think Sushi has some catching up to do. And when Ethereum is rallying, that's usually, a good sign. So I do think that you know, sushi is probably a good thing to own.
Yeah, I think $20. I mean, it's already traded above 20, so 20 shouldn't be a big ask, especially with Arbitrum. And correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, but they can actually move over to Arbitrum, right? They're going to have liquidity over there.
Sushi?
Yeah.
Is
that the idea? They have to port some shit?
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. A lot of the liquidity is going to remain on layer 1, right? But, you do have projects like Sushi, like Curve, that are now transcending just the Ethereum layer 1. These projects exist on other layer 1s as well, and layer 2s, So one of the interesting things, interesting situations that presents is that liquidity becomes fragmented, across these different platforms and stuff. If I'm on Arbitrum, I'm not going to be able to access that deep liquidity that's, accumulated over a year for Sushi. But yeah, I mean, shit, Sushi is going to be everywhere. Curve's going to be everywhere. Which does make it interesting because, you have these DeFi protocols, transcending, where they were birthed and accruing value from all of these different ecosystems. So very bullish on things that are able to do that.
Okay, because I moved 3 Ethereum over to Arbitrum this morning because my buddy's like, oh, make sure you get some money on Arbitrum. I think there's going to be a big bull run on whatever's the most liquid there first. And it's cheap and it's fast. Okay, cool. But I go to Sushi, and a lot of the coins that I want to buy, obviously, there's no liquidity. And then when I went to swap 1 Ethereum to USD just to see, it was like 4% slippage. So it's not very liquid. It may just be the case where, there could be a bull run there, but it's going to take some time. Because for now, it was not tradable. At least
we've got a question. Seeing a question about Ren in the chat.
Oh, yeah, let's pull up Ren. I saw that. Ren is breaking out.
Good day today. On Ren.
Fuck. 2 green candles since I last looked at it, and they're the biggest ones of the year.
Super bullish on Ren just from a fundamental perspective because, Ren is one of these protocols that is going to facilitate this multi-chain future. When we do have that kind of browser for DeFi, and we're wondering how value is going to be exchanged between all these different layer 1s and even layer 2s. Well, that's Ren, and Ren among others, Ren, Nerve Finance, I think Seller Network. These are all critical components of infrastructure, and Ren also has the benefit now of being a SAM coin, and I think few people understand that it is fully a SAM coin. You've got the biggest money backing this, the best brains in the industry building this. One of the reasons why the AVAX bridge is so fucking badass is they use secure enclaves, Intel SGX, and that adds another layer of security, efficiency, etc. To the bridge technology. Ren is actually, I think, using Google's version of secure enclaves, and they're working closely with Google engineers.
Google partnership.
Yeah. Cook it up.
AWS partnership, but you kept.
You don't have to bother when Daniel starts going down the. There we go.
How about Ren and BTC? Let's look at the Ren BTC chart because that was the one that I followed forever.
Damn, I did not have this in my SAM basket as far as like mental, I think CoinGecko needs like a Sam Bankman-Fried tag. You can click on like Polkadot ecosystem and Solana ecosystem. I think we need an SBF because he's like sneakily in these things I didn't know. And I would have definitely been hunting this a little closer had I known that. But let's check out Ren BTC because
Sam pretty much like took the dev team from. He's like that Dr. Evil gif. Like, come here.
Yeah, come on over. Ren has been really boring. I'm going to be honest. Ren's been really boring for a while, and that's not a bad thing. That's often like the quietest market and the longest to consolidation. You get these massive pumps, so that's not too bad. But admittedly, it put me asleep at the wheel. Like I was hunting Ren, a little bit back here, got stopped out, and I just never really got back to it.
It likes to fuck. This thing.
It does fuck hard when it goes, yeah. And right now it's moving. I mean, it's hard. Like, look, this is September 2020. The last time it was really bullish. In fact, this is Okay, I won't go there. I put out a chart on Twitter last year, and I distinctly recall hearing about it at our weekly meeting. You guys were like, bro, don't put out bearish charts on Twitter, and it was this. So
come on, we're very
called the top, raising my hand. I called the top. Okay, but it actually hasn't made a high since that tweet.
No, you know what? You're still a gay bear, so there's that.
Well, either way,
it's fine. We've all been there at different times.
It
we
did.
Play some footage of
some at the top, some at the bottom.
But it was a caution flag. I put it out there, but hey, just remembering that, so I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. But look, this thing is cooking with grease right now. And yes, Rob, I do think beginning. I know it's cliche. Things have been rallying, but I really think that when we look at ETH BTC, you have to be thinking about the start of something bigger rather than, looking at the highs on something like Solana and saying it's the end of something. Even though perhaps that leg and maybe Solana moves sideways for a month here or whatever. But look at Ren. Look at this this is the high time frame trend line. So you flip the trend line. This was the signal candle. If you trade, like TRI guys like myself, you want to wait for that market structure on the other side of the trend line. And so that was this. And one doji, and it's just boom, boom. So we're ready to mark up. And the good news is we have a system. We can chase this thing, right? We don't have to be idiots and buy the highs here today. I'm going to chase this thing up. I will have some Ren this year. And if it's pump chaser zone, SR bullish throwback here, or if it keeps going and then it's up here, I'm going to get long on this thing. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys are right. And now it's a sandbasket thing. So I have a moral prerogative, moral obligation.
How about the question of, like, during these times when we are just in full green, like, bull mode, doesn't every chart look good? Like,
Yep.
How do you really, like...
So, yes, hot ball of money.
That's hard. Yep.
Hot ball of money. Now, let's talk about that. AVAX blew up. So where do you look? You look at the AVAX tokens. And that's what we've been doing in the newsletter, right? You look for these trends, these echo pumps, because there's 8,000 coins, probably more, and they all look good. And if they don't right now, get the hell out because they probably got nothing going on. But yeah, they all look good. So what we do is you look for the echoes, the sector rallies. And I actually have one for you right here, Rob. I'm so glad you asked. With FTT breaking out, what do you think the odds are that we're going to get an exchange token rally? I put that out on Twitter just before the show. So when you see this, like, this isn't like, ooh, FTT went up. This is price discovery. This is arguably the hottest exchange token, other than maybe BNB historically, breaking out to new all-time highs. Is that going to give us a pump across all exchange tokens? And I think I think probability is pretty good.
Yep.
And so then you say, well, don't all charts look good? Well, what's moving this week? Exchange tokens. What was moving last week? AVAX tokens, right? FTM tokens. So to answer your question, how do you sift through the bullshit? Well, you got to look for patterns. And then you look for a big mover, and then you say, what looks just like it? That's going to be next week's trade.
Part of the, the bullish kind of commentary on Kucoin, KCS right there, was that with all the KYC additions happening with FTX and with Binance, that Kucoin was still not as, I guess, quote unquote, compliant oriented. That was one to look at. And
like they're going to grab some of that market share from Binance, who's kicking everyone out because of KYC. Yeah.
I don't trade on KuCoin. I don't know how it is. Like if it compares, how the liquidity is, if it's trust.
It's a cookie cutter of Binance. If you haven't been there, and I said that like 2 years ago when it came out, I actually thought it was like CZ running up like a side hustle just in case one got shut down, he'd have two. It's literally cookie cutter. It's like Sushi Swap to Uniswap.
Huh.
And they've got perps now. They've got margin. I've never traded those over there, and it's quite liquid. But again, you go back to like, who runs it? Where the hell are they? How safe is my money? That's always what's made me a little bit uncomfortable over there. This chart looks ready to fuck. It doesn't have the new highs in volume yet. But again, here's this daily candle, right? So we talk about those trend lines, and then you want to get the bullish market structure on the other side of the trend line. So we just saw this with Ren, and what happened? Once this candle closed, it was a big signal to a lot of people. And I'm not saying, buy the highs here on KCS and you'll be rich. But what I'm saying is, this is, as a technical trader, you want this candle to close above this line, and if it does, within 2 or 3 candles, we'll see some fat green ones. Typically. Yeah. Keyword: manage risk. Don't be stupid.
What's anyone heard anything about Matic lately? I know that it was all the rage. It had its little time, but is that? I mean, what are people saying now that there's some other kind of layer 2s, some other just?
Yeah, I was actually talking to our producer John about Matic today, because he was like poking it with a stick. He's like, do something. My take on Matic is that it went so fucking hot, so parabolic, and that's a chart that needs to be cleaned up. That's a lot like the Ren chart that we just looked at, right? Where it hasn't made a high since September 2020. Because it went so hard, so far, so fast, the dynamic of coin holders, buyers, and sellers, typically it takes longer to clean up. So I don't know. And then you have Arbitrum. You have all these other L1s. Daniel, what's your take? Like, Matic, was it really great for scaling ETH and it caught hype and now it's less relevant? Aside from the chart, it just maybe needs some time?
Well, here's the thing. Matic was never an Ethereum scaling solution. It's its own layer 1. That was just the marketing, for Matic.
Okay.
And I don't think that Matic can compete with Phantom or AVAX right now. It's a shittier bridge. It's a shittier experience. And Matic isn't just raining money on participants. That doesn't mean, Matic is cucked. That doesn't mean that Matic is done. Matic can still obviously run very hard. There's been some time to build out those critical, infrastructure components for the ecosystem. And Matic is cheap, and people like that. But, when it comes to like literally raining free money, Matic is just not competing on that front right now.
Yeah, and you know what, Rob? I have to take back a little bit of what I said. If there's a possible signal here cooking up, having taken the highest time frame trend line, the most legit one perhaps, slid through it, like bear marketed right into it again. That marked the bottom. And now this next trend line has clearly been getting action. So same kind of setup. It's not where everyone else is yet, but if it breaks above this level, I'm a bull again. And we'll we can ride it to a fib extension, whatever. So I'm actually going to set an alert there, 162.
How about,
because it'll move. It's a fuck coin. It'll go.
One we talk about a lot is Cosmos, Atom, and I'm seeing a lot of. I mean, obviously it started to move again. It's been trailing some of its cohorts, but
another one. Yeah, this is another newsletter coin from the last few weeks that I was like, and check out Atom. It's another L1. Might make an announcement. After that newsletter, right into the pump chaser zone. Yeah, so it's hot. It's hot, and it just made new highs in volume yesterday at the highs, so it's not done yet, most likely. And it looks really good, man. There's a nice little cluster up here of fib extension levels that probably make the next, take profit target. It's not in an area I can buy today, but God, these, like, if nothing else, guys, look at these and just be like, damn, I'm going to draw those up. I'm going to start playing from strength, because like in this season, fuck, bro.
The times have some sort of system. The times that make you want to buy the most are after they have gone up a lot. You just feel like, oh my God, this thing. But you don't.
And down here, it's like, ooh, is Bitcoin going to break down? We're going to have a 1 month bear market. And I'll be honest, I still feel that way, even though I'm staring at the pump chaser zone. But as time goes by and as I see more and more of these hitting, I've seen about 25 to 30 now in the last 2 weeks where like it just was a perfect entry. And so now my confidence is very high. So when I see one of these, I'm just going to buy it because we're in that season. It's like, it's okay to miss 5 or 10 of that kind of a setup early in that cycle, because you're like, oh, are we in it? Are we in it? Is it pump chaser season? But, well, it is now. And it's very highly likely that it'll continue to be for other coins. So, find these guys. And on the next time Bitcoin shits a few bricks, look for one of these instead of freaking out and selling your bags. And over time, that kind of shit ages well. In a bull market, I might add, pump chaser zones get shit on. You will lose every dollar trying to buy them if you're not in the right market conditions. So this is, we're in it.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, by the way.
Yeah, no, you got to put that out there. I don't want anyone to do anything because I said so, and certainly not lose and be idiots. But, you got to be in the right market conditions. But everything I'm seeing now for weeks is like, holy fuck, we are, and it happens quickly, right? You're in a bear market, what, 4 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago, everyone was selling the lows to buy lower.
It does happen quickly, but there's still a lot of people in denial, about what's happening here. I myself was in denial for a good period of time, but you have to be able to, once again, you don't want to just, you want to wait for those optimal, entry conditions, but at the same time, you also don't want to be that guy that is still looking at these charts. It's still looking at what's happening in this ecosystem and says, oh, that's bearish. Like it's just fucking not. Like these numbers are going up, and does that mean that Bitcoin's going to go to 100K next week? Absolutely not. One thing I just want to reiterate, there's literally opportunity everywhere you look right now. You don't have to chase anything. Do your research, study, bide your time, wait for those opportunities, and make intelligent decisions here.
Yeah, you don't have to buy FTM at all-time highs just because it's maybe going to go to $1.40. I mean, it's a 60% gainer. This was an interesting buy 7-8 days ago, and there's going to be, I bet there's like 10, 20 coins right now in the market that are sitting in a zone like that, or just moved off because everything's got a green candle today. But I agree with you, man. Just keep your head up and focus on trading a plan. Oh, have a plan. Please have a plan. Even if it's a shit plan, and it turns out at the end of the day that you're like, oh, that didn't age too well. Like, at least you did something. You have some data.
Sell lows.
Well, I mean, let's
yeah. Even if that's your plan.
But guys,
yell that by your wife. Repeat.
Let's look at the big picture here. Macroeconomically. Even pull up like a chart of even on TradingView of Nasdaq 100, like the NAS 100 symbol. I mean, we are seeing a march higher of epic proportions of risk assets right now across the board. And I still believe that crypto risk assets represent still some of the best opportunity, like in US dollar terms or fiat terms. But, we have to be cognizant of what we've been living through for the last stretch. And it's literally been number go up on risk assets everywhere. And we all know, we've lived through this, that does not last forever. And if we think that like our shit coins and our NFTs and our crypto is going to be like bulletproof during the next like little scare or whatever, we're nuts. So you always need to have dry powder to buy the nasty dips. And I don't think dips get nastier than crypto dips. I mean, crypto dips are some of the most nasty, most like literally.
It's a fair market, man. There's no breakers here.
Lose your lunch.
We don't have the Fed sitting there with a wall of money. This is open market. It's free reign.
And God, Apex is pumping. But I brought it up to show you the nasty dip Rob's talking about, and I want you to finish your point because I love hearing you speak, Rob.
No, I mean, bottom line is that you cannot get lulled into this process of thinking that crypto's only going to go higher and like I need to put all my fucking bullets in this thing and fire them all now, because usually when you're feeling that way, you end up getting a 20-30% dip that you can buy into not long thereafter. And that's just how this shit works. I mean,
yeah, that's the pump chase zone. That's kind of like the simple application of what you're talking about. That's why I created it.
Yeah, no, it's true. So when you think that you missed the boat, you didn't.
You did. Yep.
Yeah. Well, think about Apex when it launched, went ham. Three drives, whatever you want. It dropped 94%, like overnight. This is like 2 days. This is an hourly chart, and it is now up. It is now up 900% off those lows. So listen to what Rob's saying, right? If you think you missed something, and here's the thing I think that helped me a lot with that is not marrying bags, not marrying ideas, not feeling like if I missed that coin's pump, I'm going to be homeless. If I get it at my level, let's go. If it doesn't come back to me, if it doesn't give me something that's good for me, fuck off. I'll find another one that does. Because like you said, markets aren't going anywhere. but mismanaged bankroll will go very fast. It will disappear.
It's true.
And everything comes back. I mean, look at the FOMO on Ethereum just in May, right? ETH to 10K, ETH to 10K. Well, no, because right after that little moment popped, it gave you 2 months to load up in a very reasonable level at a pump chaser zone where you're thinking, okay, like at least I can say I had a plan. And now it's moving. But it took patience and you had to have a stomach because this fear and greed index is real. I mean, they create it based on, volatility and momentum and social media and surveys. So it's not like, oh, I can't believe it says greed. I mean, it says greed because that's what we're all experiencing. But if you look at this, it hits, scores below 10 and 20 every year at some point or another. Sometimes even during a bull market, it'll just get super fearful, like when China banned Bitcoin in 2017, right before the big 100x pump. So start reflecting on when you want to sell shit and, take losses and all that. And if it's fear 9, fear 10, fear 20, I have to train myself. And this spring or this summer was actually the first time that I ever truly started aping in during the deep fear, because I just was like, fuck it. I think I'm supposed to do this. I'm just going to do it. It feels stupid. And then also recognize we're into greed now. And we can stay in greed a long time, and it can be very sunshiny for the next few months, and I think it will be, but don't get lost in the community chats during the highs, because they'll tell you it's going another 100x no matter how many x it goes. And you will hold their bag.
Let's. I know we're coming up on the end of. We've had a really great run here.
It's exciting. Dopamine, baby.
Let's. If you're in the chat right now, you've been with us. Smash that like button. But also, if you're in the chat, if you want us to chart some stuff real quick, throw it in there. Smash that like button. But this is.
We're still up on YouTube, right? My playback on YouTube.
Yeah,
we're up there.
We're up there. Okay, good.
We're still.
It's just the little one. Yeah, the little picture thing I have is
asking
frozen.
about Doge, which we talked about the last couple weeks. I had some signals, but it's really kind of been Doge shit. Like, it hasn't done anything really in a couple weeks. But I don't know. Let's see how that chart looks. What else we got?
Well, look, we are getting near the top, guys. I see a ton of really good requests. Did you just put a request out for requests, Rob?
I did.
Okay, my bad. I was looking at the YouTube video that wasn't working. So then, okay. I was going to say, we can do that more on, like, maybe Hero Labs Live, but let's do some now. The DeFi perp looks good. Let's just, as far as macro crypto charts, it just looks good. And this is probably what a DeFi bull run would look like up into chaos levels in a few months. So buckle up. What do we got? Woo? I like Woo.
You made a good point there. If you're not in our Discord for Hero Labs, you got to join the Discord. The link is right there in the description. There's too much alpha in there.
Yeah. Now there's some shenanigans going on in the pit. It's fucking hype right now. There's Apex apes in there. So if you're getting in there and you're like, whoa, this is ridiculous, look on the side, because there's like Polkadot focused chat. There's Avalanche focused chat. There's a research requests area. If you're at a certain level, you can access. So don't be scared off on the first 5 minutes by the memes if that's what's going on today.
Ooh, I'm seeing that the link is expired. So let's check that out. Let's get the producer on that. If the Discord link is expired.
Yeah. Check our Twitter. It should be good on our Twitter. Discord links are weird because I set them to infinite and then they expire anyway, so it's like stupid. But there's a fresh one for you guys. Hop in there. I've got my own channel. Messi's got his own channel. We post charts and ideas as much as we can. It's our Twitters too, though. Oftentimes I do one or the other. I forget to double dab it, but either way. Woo looks interesting here. If somebody mentioned on Twitter today, they're like, no Woo? When I talked about exchange tokens maybe having a run here. It hasn't moved at all yet. So if anything, I'm like, well, let's just wait for the volume to come in, because the market's too hot to be sitting in a slow bag. I'm learning that lesson with ID, which I'm not selling, by the way, but it's, the opportunity cost grows every day, but I'm sure it'll do fine. But we're in a pump chaser zone on Woo, and I think their thing goes live, or it just did. So we'll see. Somebody asked about that. What else we got?
I'm seeing a Chili's CHZ.
Joe.
Chili's.
Good old Joe.
How's Joe looking?
Oh, Joe's looking like I picked some up actually. I finally went and bought some AVAX alts because they cooled off.
Joe looks fucking good.
Yeah, Joe does look pretty sweet. It's kind of gone through the pump chase zone, but it's back in and it's volatile. That's how it goes. I bought some today because I just feel like it'll do well. But what was the other one? Chili's. CHL. What is Chili's again?
CHL. I'm going to be watching this daily close on Joe. I do think that I'm interested in, and chomping it a bit here.
Yeah, it's you mentioned it's a farm token, right? So there's some emissions, but
well, the difference between Joe and something like BenKey, right? Because BenKey is just pure farm token. There's no value accrual. There's no liquidity. It doesn't matter how much the TVO grows. And yes, by comparative metrics, when you look at it versus Compound or something like that, it's technically undervalued, relative to the amount of value locked in the system. But something like Joe actually has value accrual, and the Joe token itself benefits from growth in the Joe ecosystem, as volume increases, as liquidity increases. And you've got to be bullish, really bullish on exchange tokens, on places that aren't Ethereum, because when it's cheap to transact, a lot more transactions occur, and there's a lot more value accrual to the tokens than is even possible in the Ethereum ecosystem. And that's one of the reasons why you see something like PancakeSwap, with such a high valuation. They can do insane trading volume every day. There's insane value accrual to the token. So most importantly, even though Joe is being farmed, which is why I dropped my position 4 or 5 days ago, when I thought that, hey, this Avalanche ecosystem could really correct, Joe does have potentially enough value accrual to the token to outweigh the outflows, from the actual farming.
Dope. I want to ask you later about that, how that value accrual works. I think for now we'll just do it.
100%. We'll have a conversation about it.
Because I'm curious, and I did get a bag today, but I could size it up if what you tell me sounds good. I want to learn more about that. Look, Chili's is not broken out yet. And so, again, going back to what Rob said about where do you look if everything looks good? This chart, because of the market we're in, like a month ago, I'd be like, oh, it looks okay. But because we're in a market where everything's blasting through this level, like Dan said, they all kind of look the same. And so sometimes it just, if you guys were around in 2017, late 2017, it literally turned into what hasn't pumped yet and then buy it. And then that's how every single shitcoin, I'm talking absent team, no product, no nothing. And it was going up 10x because liquid too. And it was going up because it hadn't pumped yet. And we may be headed into that when you look at things like Ethereum, Bitcoin, which again, just getting started on this next leg. So Chili's looks great. It's an NFT play. Actually, Rob, a buddy of ours, talked to us about it. He said it was one of his biggest bags last week. Not the AVAX buddy, but one of our friends out of Aussie. So I acquired a bag of CHZ Chili's, and we'll see. It's
Sean's asking about Ligma.
Ooh,
Dan, did you really just fall for that?
Of course.
What's Ligma?
I was wondering. I was wondering if you were having a boomer moment. I
No,
thought,
come on.
Okay.
I wanted somebody else to say it.
I thought somebody had gotten you, but
No.
How about what else are they looking for?
Tell. I see a lot of Tell. Telcoin, I've heard about it. I don't really remember what it is. Yeah, I mean, again, right? So when you're looking at something like Solana, which is my probably favorite play of the year, and I just rotated a lot out of it. Why? Because I think we're in a season where a lot of these coins are going to do what Solana just did, and to some extent. And this one is another example of something that take a sec to ink it up. Like you can see the low, higher lows coming in, setting a clear resistance level, which then
Really looked really good.
Tell broke out of that on volume a week ago and is now just coming in to settle into that level. So what
this,
comes?
Teller?
This is Teller. Well, Telcoin. Is that the wrong one? I might be on the wrone one, but whatever this coin is, it's got the setup. It's got the thing. It's
Exactly what you were saying. Who gives a fuck what the name is?
Like, who cares what it is, right? I mean, sure, there's a team, and I'm sure there's someone in the community who's all in on it, and they're going to tell you it's the next biggest thing. It's the one they chose, and it's sitting in the pump chaser zone, and it just broke out on volume from a month-long consolidation after the lows. So is it going to be breaking out next week? Probably. Am I going to buy it? Probably not, because I just always talk about shit and then don't buy it. But Telcoin looks good. It's on Huobi. Teller. Teller is Taylor. How do you
TRB or something.
TRB? Yeah, thank you. That's maybe not what they were asking for, but we're gonna look at it because if Link, here's the thing: if Link breaks out here, guys, Pith coming on. If there's a hype launch around Pith, which there will be, expect Link. Okay, all right. Ooh, okay, nice, Gunny. Have a good one. Gunny's got to take off, guys. He's gonna ghost into the distance. There he goes.
I'm gonna have to ghost too. I got nanny issues. I got in 3
Look,
minutes.
we should wrap it up. We talked about not having 2-hour streams so people could actually rewatch them, but here we are at hour 2. All I'm gonna say, the final thoughts as we get back to the studio here. Oh, we even have a preset with just us 3. Nice. Watch for the echoes, guys. That's all I can say. When you have 9,000 coins, look for something that's hot. Look for something that just looks just like it. It's sexy cousin, and take her out to lunch. But don't marry her, okay? Be sure to take her out to lunch, treat her well, but then, drop her off at home safe. Pay yourself, okay? That's my really random analogy for the next few months. But Pith, okay, look, final thought. Pith launching soon, right?
Well, they're on mainnet right now. I mean, we're working with them.
Token.
We know them. I couldn't be more bullish on what's going on there. I think it's one of the bluest of blue chips. But token, when token, I tweeted it the other day. When token, let's get it.
If Pith comes out, it's an oracle, right?
Yep.
So if it comes out and it just goes mental and it becomes the flavor of the week, watch Link, watch TRB, watch Band, and maybe we even watch them now because they're all coming out of pump chaser zones in perhaps advance of the Pith thing. I mean, look at TRB right now. It's a little bit out of the zone because everything has this candle today, but is this going to be up there next? The whole market tends to chase, and so oracles is another nice sector that we'll probably see rally soon. So anyways, I digress, guys. There's so much to talk about in this market. I'll be back on Friday at 3 p.m. for Hero Labs Live, 3 p.m. Eastern, that is, to hang out with all you guys, and we're just going to go pure charts. And Rob, always a pleasure. We'll be back on next Wednesday. And Messi, all over Twitter. If you guys haven't already, you can follow him there. You're probably following him. That's why you're here. And otherwise, he'll be on Shitcoin Church next week, maybe on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, we do it Tuesdays. Try to shoot for 2 p.m. But in this market, sometimes shit gets weird, and you have to stay up all night, or even if you don't have to, you want to.
You know how many times this week I get out of bed and it's like 7 a.m. and I see you sitting there in the Telegram, and you're just like, I think I might go to sleep. I'm just like, bro.
I mean, it's there's too many opportunities that literally, like, the opportunity cost of sleep right now is just astronomical. It's one of those markets to where there's enormous benefit to being fast. So first, I always have my ear to the ground. Being early to something is always the easiest money you're ever going to make, and there's tons of opportunity for people to be early to things right now. So find something that you can be early to. Have conviction. Have a thesis.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the Discord.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to continue to share my thesis on our newsletter each week, so if you haven't, sign up to that shit. Because we were a week ahead of FTM. Holla. I didn't even trade it, though, but I'm a LARP.